Now, I have been given very strong assurances by individual on Twitter LARPing as right-wingers, LARPing that they're on our side, that only pornographic material is going to be banned. Like, if I disagree with the payment processors cracking down on adult games, it's because I'm a coomer. I have a gooner brain. I'm addicted to pornography. It's not that I have an actual argument or that I stand on principles and that I think that censorship is bad. No. It's just like I just am lying and spreading misinformation when I say that video games that are not adult oriented are going to be banned. And so yesterday we talked about Fear and Hunger, which is very interesting because like I had the same people say, well, it's a bad game, it should be banned. You know, it's just like an RPG Maker game, why are you defending it? And it's like, okay, so now we have two standards, apparently. One standard is if the game is titillating, that it deserves to be banned. The other standard is if the game is not good enough. If it's made in RPG Maker, that it deserves to be banned, right? So like I see that the standards are constantly increasing. Today I found out that another indie game, which comes from what people would say an unsavory developer, and I'll explain why that is in a bit. But on top of that, it's an award-winning game. And it's not a game that's supposed to be titillating. It actually does have an interesting story. The video game is called Mouthwash. And it's a psychological horror game. Right, so we notice a theme. Fear and Hunger was a psychological horror game that had adult elements in it. Like, granted, it was dark. But just like Game of Thrones has depictions of non-consensual stuff happening in it, it's got bestiality, it's got underage characters. Like if you read Song of Ice and Fire, all of that is in the book. But it's not done for titillation purposes. It's artistic. Like it's supposed to get the reader to experience a carousel of emotions. And so does Fear and Hunger. And so does this game Mouthwash. Now this game Mouthwash is about a spaceship that crash lands. And the co-pilot is the character you play, and he is the one blamed for the crash landing. And the crew finds out that the only thing on board, the only thing that they can eat is mouthwash. And so they start using it and drinking it as alcohol. And the game takes place between two timelines, when you play as the co-pilot, and another timeline when you play as Curly, which is before the crash. And so you have to pick up all of the pieces of the story together, and apparently the story was so good that the game managed to get a reward. Now, the reason that I'm saying that the developer is an unsavory character is because Asmongold himself played this game on Steam, right? Like, he wanted to highlight the game because he considered that it's got a good story. And of course, the developer freaked out and started condemning Asmongold and was disgusted with the fact that Asmongold played the game, right? So, like, at a personal level, I cannot associate myself with a developer that thinks like that. You know, this is exactly the type of culture that I'm fighting against. I hate this idea. It's like, oh my goodness, you associated with that guy. You're the associate. This is what brought us to this place. So I'm not championing the developer. However, due to the current context, due to the current climate, I do have to raise awareness about this, right? Because I think that the payment processors are a far bigger threat. And when I'm doing activist on Twitter, I was being warned by certain individuals from my side. It's like, hey, you can't retweet that guy, he's a leftist. Hey, you can't talk to that person. Like, don't you know what they said, such and such. And my point is that the current internet censorship that's coming, which is from the payment processors, it's from activist groups, it's from the UK, France, the European Union. The United States wants to pass a bill now, the Kids Online Safety Act. It's from Australia. Like, all of these places at the same time are promoting censorship, and they are an alliance between left-leaning people and right-wing people. Like, it's happening, right? And this is coming, like, it was discussed at the World Economic Forum a couple of years ago. Like, after the pandemic, they weren't happy with how people communicated on the internet, with how they tried to bypass pandemic measures. And so, like, they all decided that, all right, well, this would be a good idea. You know, like, what if we can make sure that sensitive topics on the internet are restricted? And take into account that, like, right now, the restriction is, like, if you dox yourself, you can read it. But nothing is stopping from flipping a switch and then you can't read it even if you dox yourself, right? Like the AI is already designed on how certain topics get flagged. And we're talking about political topics, not just entertainment topics. Like protests, for instance, can get flagged. And so this is the end goal, right? And it's being normalized by pushing the censorship into the video game industry, by pushing the censorship to the porn industry, because like a lot of people watch these things and do these things, but don't talk about it. And the process is to normalize you that it's okay for stuff to get censored. And so if left-wing and right-wing groups are pushing for this, like unfortunately, I have to say, I personally, like I don't know what other people will do, but I will swallow my pride and I will work with literally anyone as long as it can push back against the payment processors. And there have been like many developers that are part of the LGBT community, which, you know, they probably don't like me and they probably hate everything that I stand for and everyone that I associate with. But they are from the LGBT community. And there are a lot of laws, legislations, both nationwide, but also internal at companies that prevent people from discriminating against LGBT individuals. So, like, they have a hands up, right? So, like, when they say, like, our game was censored and you're targeting LGBT games, I don't necessarily give a shit. Like, the only thing that I care is censorship, right? Like, any game that gets censored, in my opinion, is horrible. But if you're going to use the argument, oh, well, they're being homophobic by censoring this game, I'll be like, fuck it, yeah, you're homophobic. Why are you being homophobic? Why are you censoring that game? Blah, 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 blah. Even though I don't fucking believe in it, and I'm pretty honest, right? Like, as long as it fans the flames, because what I do believe at the end of the day is against censorship. Shouldn't censor that game, right? Oh, like, saying that it's homophobic is a stronger argument. Like, I still believe it shouldn't be censored. But now you're empowering my argument. Very well, you know, if this is the language they listen to, well, this is the language I'll speak. You know, if it means that I need to speak a leftist term for them to listen to me, because otherwise they don't care about censorship and they don't care about free speech unless, fine, I'll say whatever the fuck you want, you know? But hopefully, the culture is going to change and people will understand that censorship itself is a problem. And that when you start allowing them to have the foot in the door, they're going to come in. Saying that, oh, well, you know, like, I'm only for this censorship, but not that. It's kind of like saying, well, I'm for creating the One Ring, but I just don't want Sauron to use it. Now, if you're talking about censorship regarding real actors, right? Like, for instance, making a movie like Cooties. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree that should be censored, right? But censorship is not an on-off switch. Like, just because I agree with something doesn't mean I want to push the dial to fucking 11. Like, there are certain things that I'm aware, yeah, like, that certain things should be censored. But I do think, like, when you're trying to censor horror games, maybe you've went just a little bit too fucking far. When you're threatening, you know, video game platforms, which, in my opinion, are the modern way of writing books, you're just like the Nazis burning down books because you don't fucking like them. And if that's an argument that's enough to convince people, sure, I'll use it. I'll fucking use anything at this point. It's absolutely disturbing and disgusting what's happening. Like, the rules aren't clear. They're vague. Developers are afraid to make anything right now, which means that the AAA industry gets to profit, which means that China and Asia gets to profit because they don't have to worry about this nonsense. And you're also fragmenting the internet. Like, we're going to end up having 3 or 4 different internets, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think, like, that's an awful idea. Like, what was wrong with the 2010 internet? What's wrong with the 2020 internet? Why do we now need to make sure that, okay, Russia has one internet, China has another internet, Asia has an internet, the European Union and America have a different one? Like who benefits from this? Who agrees to this? And it's ridiculous, because that's what will happen. Like, you'll see sites simply region blocking entire continents because they can't comply with the rules and regulations, or you'll have rules and regulations that disagree with one another. And right now, if you look at the United Kingdom, like, search engines are starting to comply to Ofcom. It's absolutely disturbing what's happening. So yeah, like, I think that talking about video games is important because you change the culture. A culture where at least entertainment shouldn't be as heavily censored as it is now. That there's no justification for it, there's no reason for it, and demonstrably, it does not make a better world. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.